It's an indication of just how painful the anniversary is for tens of thousands of Greek citizens. Serious clashes erupted in Athens as hundreds of thousands of people across the nation rallied to demand justice on the second anniversary of the country's deadliest ever train crash. On this day, then, in 2023, 57 people were killed when a passenger train collided with a freight train near the Tempe Gorge in central Greece. Despite the scope of the tragedy and the anger that followed, observers argue that the safety issues that caused that crash still have not been addressed 2 years later. For more, we'll cross now to our correspondent in Athens, Nathalie Savaricas. Hi, Nathalie. So you were at those protests in Athens earlier. What did you see there?
Well, I can tell you, I've been covering Greece and its protests for nearly 2 decades now, and this has been by far the most grandiose turnout I've seen in at least 10 years. People, just streams and streams of them into the streets of Athens, the capital. With families, so many families and children holding up placards demanding justice, demanding accountability, and echoing the last words that those 57 people said as recently recordings emerged of these last words, of their cries for help. And this has been very much resonating with the Greeks here, who 2 years on feel they've been let down by their government, and they feel their government has not been transparent, and that so much more could have happened. Now, at the end of this grandiose, as I said, protest, some youths started throwing Molotov cocktails, petrol bombs towards the police, who responded by trying to clear them with tear gas and protect heavily the parliament, which was the object of their ire, of their anger, this great outpouring. Now, the entire country today has been paralyzed. Everything is at a standstill, from ships who have been docked, from planes who aren't flying, but even shops. You cannot find anything today. The shops closed at 11 a.m., most of them, and nothing will open till later this afternoon. Greeks are showing their anger. It's boiling over, and they demand answers from the administration of Kyriakos Mitsotakis. This is by far the biggest test he's faced in his now second term.
So speaking, Nathalie, of that demand for answers, of course, nobody has been convicted in that, that devastating accident 2 years ago. So why has the justice process been so slow?
Well, that's exactly what the Greeks are asking. This justice, this accountability they're demanding, that it's been 2 years and the trial has yet to begin, with constant delays. The investigation, it's been a disaster. You know, the authorities here had absolutely no procedure to deal with such an accident. And so back then, the police had to kind of organize it all. And what they did within hours of the train crash, they started kind of cementing the whole place. There was absolutely no protection. So all the investigation was kind of a disaster, because there was no evidence to be collected. And that is the one big why of the families and all the Greeks. And this entire investigation is a debacle, and that's why the families had to hire their own investigators, because there is no trust in the authorities. And so much has been unearthed in these 2 years, and all these question marks, and of course the safety gaps, that led to this train crash. Well, many of them have not been filled yet. 2 years on, Greeks don't feel safe. They feel let down by their administration. Thus, polls have indicated they feel they cannot trust them. And of course, even the European Prosecution Office called on Kyriakos Mitsotakis' administration to kind of do a probe into the top officials, into two former transportation ministers, and yet this didn't happen. So there's a lot of anger for all these issues and these matters that were not properly addressed, and they really feel very much so that this is a cover-up, because there's also some indication that some sort of very flammable fuel was on that train, one that caused a massive explosion that cannot just be justified when two electric trains clash. And that's what also led to the death of many of the people who did not die upon impact. And there are no answers to all this 2 years down the line. So all this and so much more, they're asking on the government to really get a move on that and to provide all these answers with complete transparency.
Nathalie Savaricas with the context then behind that explosive anger in Athens 2 years on. Thank you very much.